I like to call this one, "The truth may hurt, but illusion is more damaging." In the latest nonsense that has become synonymous with extreme gender ideology, rapists have been wrongly labelled as women by police. How can that happen, I hear you ask, when the crime of rape can only be perpetrated by a biological man? Then, of course, Isla Bryson, or should we say rapist Adam Graham, springs to mind. No sooner had ex-SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon poo-pooed the idea of anyone ever taking advantage of her gender recognition reform bill, which would have made it easier for people to identify as another gender. In fact, she called her opponents racist and other names. Rapist Adam Graham appeared on the scene and did what was obvious to everyone apart from, it would appear, Nicola, and changed his gender to female so he could wind up in a female jail, which is ridiculous. He's a rapist. Nicola lost the last thin shred of credibility that she had. No one could take her seriously after that. She resigned, and Hamza Useless took over, in my view, foolishly following the same dogma. So after all that, you would think that the police and those involved directly with law enforcement would act quickly to ensure such a ridiculous situation could never happen again. But figures obtained with the Freedom of Information Act showed that Isla Bryson is just the tip of the iceberg, and that over the past 4 years, 260 females have been charged with rape. Now, I repeat, the crime of rape can only be perpetrated by a biological man. And a further 209 have been recorded as unknown sex, which includes those who define themselves as non-binary. I mean, what a load of tosh. And research by Keep Prisons Single Sex, that's KPSS, showed that in 2022, so last year, of the 26 forces, 22 recorded sex based on person's gender identity, with 20 doing this on the basis of how the person chose to identify. Dr. Kate Coleman from the organisation said if these are men being recorded as women, then these victims have had the most gut-wrenching, visceral and accurate experience of a person's sex registered at birth. To have that dressed up as actually, no, that is a woman, is a complete betrayal. Suella Braverman called for common-sense policing, and she said not only is this wrong because a woman cannot legally be a rapist, but also it's grossly insensitive and it's insulting to the victims of rape who are biological women. That's not to say that men can't be raped by other men, but how must the victim of this crime feel hearing that her male rapist or his male rapist is actually a woman? It makes a mockery of the system. Suella told The Telegraph that in no instance was it biologically or legally right for a rapist to be described as a she. But despite Home Office pressure for police to use biological gender, it's actually down to each individual force to decide how they record this, which obviously creates false data. So here it is, in plain sight, the problems we face if we continue down the gender path where we attempt to disassociate biological sex from gender, and it's playing out before our very eyes. Some may think that there are bigger issues, but to me this is one of the biggest that I as a woman must address continuously to protect my hard-fought rights. And this piranha-like attack, a series of small nibbles which if ignored become a big bite, must be stopped before a chunk of my rights disintegrate. The truth may hurt, but illusion is far more damaging.